I can still go to Corridor, and the cheapest by a huge margin. Do you want to guess? It's like $4 cheaper than the next cheapest 30-pack.
Natty Light.
Not even close. You'll never get it, so I will tell you.
Beast.
Oh, I'll give you a hint. It's from the state of New York.
Jenny Light.
That is correct. It is $13 for a 30-pack. Howdy, it's Monday, May 6th, 2019, and this is episode 98 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City Casino Biz podcast. I'm Kyle Askin, joined, as always, by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
Are we going to AC or what? That would be good.
Are we doing it in June? Is that what you've decided?
I've pitched June 13th. I guess through the 14th for you guys. It would be a day trip for me. But we should do it.
So, what's best for you? Like, could you do the 14th to the 15th? Is that possible?
Good question. So the 14th is 15th meeting from Friday into Saturday.
Friday into Saturday.
Unclear. I just assumed that was out for you. So I didn't even...
I mean, I've not been to Atlantic City in year of our Lord 2019.
Me neither.
I'm almost certainly not going on the Vegas trip this year. So I feel like I have some leeway to try to make something happen for you.
So you didn't see my color-coded doc of...
I did.
Things I want to do.
And it actually made me want to go less.
Because it didn't just say Pai Gow Poker at the Harrah's, all meals Chipotle.
Oh. Well, what really happened during our one of our buddies' bachelor parties, I remember there was an infamous night where some infamous things happened. And I missed just everything because I was playing the 2-4 mixed game at the IP back then, which is triple draw, low ball.
Right. I always forget that you weren't involved in any of that.
Yes, that night.
Legendary night.
I know.
He who shall not be named, to protect the somewhat innocent. Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't believe that you didn't see that document full of goodness and think... It's definitely what I want to do. It's just a fully planned out minute-by-minute trip.
If the document involved things like that night, then perhaps I would have reconsidered. But unfortunately, I think we've reached the age where our nights will not be so wild.
So in planning for this Vegas trip, I'm trying to figure out what are the more adult things that I want to do. 6 years since I've been to Vegas. I should be an adult and I should go get a really nice meal. And I was listening to... I think it was the next to last Macau cast, and they were talking about going to the Joel Robuchon restaurant and how
Joel.
Sure, we'll go with that. It's French, right? And how amazing it was, and it was a really great meal, and the experience was amazing. And then Hunter says how they went for lunch and they realized that they were getting toward their dinner reservation time because it took 3 hours. And I was like, oh no, I'm out.
I hear there is a Joel Robuchon at MGM.
There is, and...
Paul's been there, right?
Yeah, and I was like, maybe I should really splurge on myself. And then they said 3 hours, and I was like, nope, never gonna happen. That is not what I want to do with my Las Vegas time.
Yeah. Once
every 6 years, knowing that I won't be back until the year 2025. Because that's how that works, right?
Probably.
That's why you should come.
It's unlikely.
One night trip, just come out, specifically not on nights that overlap with our friends Dave and Craig.
I don't know if you've heard, but we actually picked a different weekend to go. I don't know if anyone told you, but...
Would not surprise me at this point. Should we talk about 1998?
Yeah.
It's episode 98. The Atlantic City Surf played their inaugural season in the Atlantic League. Sandcastle Stadium was actually still under construction when the first game was played there, so that's always I feel like that's very Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And the Surf won the championship, so that's cool. They did end up holding about, 11, 12 seasons in 2009. I think it was the end of the year in 2009. And now, of course, we've talked a little bit about the potential for a baseball team coming back to Surf Stadium, although no news on that in quite a few months. Also, in 1998, the Showboat was purchased by Harrah's Entertainment, which would later become Caesars Entertainment, which is also relevant to the next thing, which is that Hilton, owner of a very famous property that we loved so much in Atlantic City, spun off its casinos into a new entity called Park Place Entertainment, which would later become Caesars Entertainment, which in 2005 was bought by Harrah's, and then in 2010 was renamed to Caesars Entertainment, because it's not confusing enough. And that is 1998 in Atlantic City. An important year for the shuffling of the ownerships.
The shuffling of the chairs on the dock.
The deck chairs on the showboat.
Yes, that's right. The showboat, casino, resort, and bowling center.
1898, the Steel Pier opened on June 18th. So another year, another very good.
Huge, yeah.
1800s coming through yet again.
Good old 19th century. We can always count on you for having the real news.
I think it was just like a total boom time for Atlantic City, and so shit.
It seems
was
that way.
Yeah. So the Steel Pier, I think, had storms that washed parts of it away. It had a fire.
Diving horses.
Sometime later on, they've had to rebuild it. It had diving horses. That's a thing. So, yeah, still there in a very different iteration than 121 years ago.
I mean, I think we can both agree nothing tickles both of our fancies quite as much as seeing the 1910 photos of the boardwalk, and you're like, yeah, it looks kind of like the boardwalk.
Yeah, it is weird, except for
how people are dressed.
People in full suits and women in dresses all the way down.
Yes.
To their heels. Literally on the beach in them, which is pretty amazing. But yeah, I do love the old Atlantic City pictures. We wouldn't be Atlantic City fans if we did not.
I feel like if we ever were to go to the beach in Atlantic City, which I have never done.
I've done it.
I've never done it. We need to buy circa 1915 bathing suits to all do it. That would be the only way to do it.
I think you've stumbled upon a business idea, which is wandering around and taking pictures with people while dressed in...
Yeah, it could be us and the wives or whatever. It'd be great.
Yeah, I think that would go over super well, and certainly not skeeve anyone out at all.
No.
Yeah.
All right, done.
Yet another stellar Do for a Win business idea coming out of the podcast.
Yes, one of our finer ones.
Clearly.
It might not be false, but perhaps only because of the scarcity of good ones. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't even remember any of the other ones. Competing Fudge Shop, I think, was the last one that we talked about.
Do you want to talk about some casino profits?
I guess.
So, as was promised last episode, I know you all have been waiting with bated breath to hear about the 2018 profitability numbers.
And definitely did not just go click on a link somewhere and search it and see all the information. Waited for us, for our wisdom that we can impart on this conversation.
We are not ones to disappoint, so...
In this area, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, there were profitability numbers. I think, generally speaking, they were okay. Not as bad as I would have expected, I think. Do you want to run through a little bit of the nitty gritty? You wrote up a bunch of the statistics for it.
So annual profits were down 15% in 2018, which, you're saying not as bad as you're expecting. That seems not great.
Well, I mean, profit numbers are... It's a bit different than the revenue numbers, because for one thing, profits are a lot lower, so you can see a lot higher changes, right? Mm-hmm. Especially if you get towards zero, which, well, I guess as a spoiler, we have a couple of casinos that did not make a profit.
Certainly, those would not be the two new ones that you're speaking of.
Surely not. So yeah, anyway, everyone did, I don't know, okay-ish, I guess. The big kind of losers, were Hard Rock and Ocean did actually not turn a profit. I don't know if Ocean necessarily expected to turn, well, maybe not a huge profit. I think Hard Rock not turning a profit was probably a bit of a disappointment. And kind of the other big surprise to me was Borgata's profit numbers. They were down right around 50 million from 2017 to 2018. That was kind of like the big thing that stood out to me looking at these numbers. And there was two gainers. Tropicana went up a little bit, but Gold Nugget made like $5 million extra, which is a pretty reasonable percentage for them.
Yeah. Like you said, Borgata down 18.8%, which is a big number. Obviously, they still bring in a ton of revenue.
Yes, the most profit by a pretty large margin still over everyone else.
Yeah, you'd still rather be Borgata than any other casino in town, I think, even though the year-over-year profits are lower. Caesars down 15.4%, which was pretty big, and then everybody else was in like the 2.5% to 6.5% range. So interesting that Borg and Caesars are having these big chunks taken out of them. Do you think that's because of the new casinos opening hitting them the hardest, or is it just, like you said, the sort of variance of having profit numbers be smaller means the chances of the standard deviation is higher or whatever?
I mean, among casinos that really, Borgata did not make more money in terms of revenue in 2018 than they did in 2017, but their expenditures went up quite a bit, and that made them a bit of an outlier compared to the other casinos. So I think that had a lot to do with their numbers specifically, and I don't know why their numbers went up in terms of how much money they were spending. I mean, because certainly Borgata's revenue numbers weren't as bad as their profit numbers, but I can't explain why they spent so much more, especially in like their G&A line. So could have just hired a bunch of more executives or something. I don't know.
So what is G&A for the non-MBAs here? General
and administrative. It's basically everything that's not, something that is easily mappable to, in casino terms, like casino, room, food, and board. So it's everything else. It's marketing, it's executives, it's all that stuff.
I mean, is improvements, like expenditures that they put into things like a sports book, is that in the G&A?
Yes. Well, I don't know if like a sports book would be in G&A or if it'd be in casino, because this is...
Yeah, good point.
I'm not 100%.
Yeah, so did you see anything in all of the expenses that surprised you in terms of like, oh, wow, somebody put a bunch of money into who knows what, food and beverage or whatever casino that we didn't really realize, like rooms, that kind of stuff? Or is it pretty standard, do you think?
I don't think anything here stands out a ton. Honestly, looking at the numbers, it's sort of like the thing that stands out to me is like how okay-ish Bally did, because I know like our big story the entire time we've had a podcast is how Bally's is going to be the next casino that closes, which I still believe, but looking at the profitability numbers, like they don't really have a leg to stand on to close it, which doesn't mean they won't, but like they did sort of fine.
Yeah, and their costs were like down a little bit, even though their revenue was down a little bit. So I don't know. Yeah, it really, the sort of whole year numbers really didn't look that bad for them, which is kind of, like you said, surprising. So yeah, interesting from that perspective. Is there anything else to mention?
No, I don't think so. I think we can move on with kind of the big news, which is Ocean says they're going to turn a profit in the month of May. Yeah,
this was kind of an interesting, maybe sort of out of nowhere article by Wayne Perry.
I don't know how they know that on May the 4th or 5th, whenever this came out, but...
Right, I mean, I'm sure they have a pretty good idea of what the expenses are going to be, and if they've cut expenses hugely, then they might feel like we're definitely going to turn a profit. But, like, yeah, I don't understand how gaming revenue, like we've talked about, can swing a lot with luck. So it seems odd that they would be so confident that they've done whatever it takes to, I would assume, maintain revenue or increase it a little bit. I mean, it's May, so you'd think it's going to be up from April, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. The biggest thing is that they paid down a bunch of debt, right? So,
right. That's. I believe in the article it said of the $70 million they were putting into the property, 50 was used to pay off some of the debt load.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. So it does say that. David Schwartz, who's been on the podcast a couple times,
friend of the podcast,
said that he
Atlantic City native.
Yes, Atlantic City native, former Trump Taj Mahal employee.
That's right.
Said reducing the debt load will ease a great deal of pressure, making it easier for the property to invest in facilities and promotions that will draw customers. So, it's a good thing to draw down the debt. It helps their outlook long term, definitely. It makes it less likely that they're going to run out of money. But if you had this idea that they're going to pump $70 million into actually improving the property or building out rooms or, the unfinished rooms or doing whoever else knows what, now that number is 20 million. So I would say major changes are probably not coming anytime soon.
Nope.
Except they did say that they are adding new elevators to make it easier to get from the hotel rooms to the casino floor. And it's unclear to me what that really means, because Ocean tweeted that the new elevators are ready to be used now, I believe. And they're just over by
They're near the front desk and they go down to next to Wahlburgers, is what they said.
Right, so it seems to me like you still have to take 2 elevators.
Yeah, you still need to get off the one bank of elevators and walk over to the front desk, which, if you've been in Ocean, it's actually 3 banks of elevators to get to the rooms, or you have to go into basically another doorway and then choose, you can turn right away, or you can continue going straight and then turn right to get to the banks of elevators that take you up to various levels in the casino, in the hotel. But yeah, you have to walk out of that room and keep going straight to the front desk, and the elevator will be around there. So
it's a shorter walk, I guess, a little bit.
It is. It's definitely a shorter walk than walking all the way to kind of out to the boardwalk side of the property and taking those elevators down and then going into the casino.
Yeah, I don't think this really fixes the problem. And
no, it doesn't.
It's clear that they understand that this is a problem, but if you're marketing this and people go and they are like, this is not actually a solution, then that's not really helpful marketing, I don't think. People are going to be pretty quick to point this out. It's not like social media doesn't exist.
All right.
So I don't know. We'll see what people say once we start getting reports. I'm assuming the Everything AC group especially will have people there this weekend. There'll be comments about it this weekend, because it seems like there are people at Ocean in that group.
Every day.
Probably every day, because there are 15,000 plus people in that group. So I think that's it for Ocean. There's some Caesars Entertainment sort of profit news that's more recent than 2018, which is that they posted a $42 million loss in the first quarter. I think that came out in a earnings call.
Right, the CZR earnings.
Yeah, so not great, especially not great that they specifically mentioned increased competition in Atlantic City. They also talked about severe weather, which I guess was a common refrain from casino operators across the country in Q1. But
was weather that bad in Q1?
I don't know that it was so terrible in Atlantic City, but I think for their other regional properties it was a problem.
Yeah.
So it definitely is concerning that they're specifically saying ooh, this AC thing with Hard Rock and Ocean is taking its toll, because
sounds like a pretense to close down one of their properties.
Yeah, I mean, we just said they don't really have an excuse based on the profit numbers to close anything, but if they're already sort of citing this as to their investors in a call, it seems like that's them sort of setting it up to to make a drastic decision here.
To jump around a little bit, I know some of our listeners kind of commented on another piece of news that came out from CET that they thought kind of contradicted what we are saying now, which is that they are building a new sports book in Bally's, 15,000 square feet, which would make it the biggest in Atlantic City, with a 98-foot wide LED screen, which is even bigger than the Pac-Man screen for people who've been in Wild West. That can be seen from the boardwalk. And
I'm not sure how that works. What do you mean it can be seen from the boardwalk?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but perhaps it will make more sense once it's built.
I'm assuming. So this is all in the Wild West section, by the way.
Yes. So people are like, see, they're investing all this money in Bally's. It's probably not going to go away, but I think me and you have always believed that it's only going to be Park Place, that if they close something, they're just going to close down Park Place, and Wild West will basically become part of Caesars instead of Bally's at that point.
Yeah, and there's a lot of space in that Wild West area that's not being
empty,
used. Obviously,
completely empty. They have those nice temporary walls up leading you from the escalators back to the poker room.
Yeah, and presumably this will fill a big chunk of that. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about this also in terms of the Boardwalk Saloon and the concerts and what they've done in Wild Wild West. Like, a lot of the investment in Bally's has gone into the Wild Wild West section and trying to sort of reinvent what that is and attract a different market to that property. So it does seem to me like that's the obvious case. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily obvious that Bally's is going to close or anything like that, but I think that is an option that they are keeping open. Or certainly not. You know, I agree. I don't think this is any proof that, like, oh, see, they are keeping Bally's open. But
Nope.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think about the sports book? Do you want to delve into this some? Are you excited about it? It's supposed to open by the first week in June.
It's pretty soon.
It is very soon.
So
when we go on June 13th, we'll be able to see it.
Yes, we will. I don't have too much to say. I mean, I think as a broad category, people always kind of oversell the importance of sports books. That's just my personal opinion. I know that is not the opinion of most listeners of kind of casino podcasts and people who like gambling, but
yeah, I mean,
they've got a lot of space. They may as well use it somehow. I think this is as good a use as any. It's not like they can shove more table games in there or anything. So
it fits with the property and what they're trying to
does.
do in Wild Wild West in terms of beer pong tables and the music and all that stuff. The rendering that they posted has pool tables and a shuffleboard table. So, you know, those are the things the millennials like, right? Isn't that what Vegas casinos keep trying to add to?
Yes.
To get millennials in the door.
I mean, they're just O'Shea's and Bill's Gambling Hall certainly had nothing else if not beer pong tables and
that's where all the millennials hung out.
Yes.
At the the Burger King at the O'Shea's. So Subway, I think I remember being at O'Shea's also. So Kevin Ortzman, regional president of the Caesars AC properties, said, I wanted to create a category killer in Atlantic City. So that's big talk, right? Like, he wants the best sports book.
What exactly does that mean?
It means when people think of sports books in AC, they only want to go to Wild Wild West.
So he wants
no
to be
Ocean.
the Vegas Hilton, which is not the Hilton anymore, but
The Westgate.
the Westgate,
Superbook.
yes.
Yeah, I would say the Superbook is basically, you know, it's certainly gotten old and dingy over time, but it has, I think, recently been renovated. And yeah, I mean, when you talk about the
It's a nice property.
books,
It's a nice room, I mean.
yeah, when you talk about sports books in Vegas, like, that is the thing that
The
gets
Superbook
brought
is...
up.
Yep.
So we'll see if this can work similar magic.
I mean, I think it's a good idea for them. And just because, like we said, they have all this space, they may as well use it. And while I think sportsbooks as a whole are a bit overrated, I think that there is room for someone to try to come in and do something, kind of have a category leading offering for people. And it sounds like, you know, I think they have the space to do it. So it may as well be them.
Yeah, so Ocean's book is amazing. I think that's a great, maybe one of my favorite sportsbook spaces I've ever been in. Granted, I haven't spent a ton of time. I haven't been to like Legacy Stadium or anything in Palazzo. I've been in a bunch of the other ones in Vegas, but it's not. It can get very crowded, and when it gets very crowded, it can feel very tight. I think like it's not a huge open space. It's sort of this cylindrical shaped thing, circular shaped thing in the middle of the casino, which is cool because it's the focal point of the casino and it draws a bunch of people. But the opportunity to have just this giant area, I think Wild Wild West can provide that, and maybe more than any other casino possibly could. So Borgata still has not completed their finished book. Obviously, you know, they tend to kick lots of ass in everything they do just about, so it'll be interesting to see where they are. But yeah, it'd be kind of crazy if the best sportsbook in Atlantic City is Wild Wild West when all is said and done, you know, 3 weeks from now when this thing opens.
Yep. So just kind of to piggyback off of the profitability news we've been talking about and the possibility of casino closures, there's been one more report recently that the state of New Jersey is thinking about trying to implement some rules that dictate the total number of casinos that can be open, or the total kind of casino space that would be available in New Jersey. to try to prevent the, I guess, what they perceive as the overbuilding of casinos leading into the economic downturn that happened and the closures of all the casinos in 2014. I don't know. What do you think of this, or what's more information that our readers need?
On the very surface level, yeah, it seems like 12 casinos is too many, and maybe even 9 or 10 is too many, and now there's talk of Showboat opening, and that doesn't seem like a great idea, and if everything's just going to cannibalize something else, that's not the best. But, we have seen Ocean and Hard Rock come in, and they have grown the pie. Yes, it hasn't been all new money, but we've seen 15% year-over-year gains in the last couple months, which is, a bigger pie than it used to be, and it's probably 15% more than they would have gotten if they hadn't opened, right? Like the city would have gotten. And there are more jobs in the city because of those 2 casinos being open. And so I'm a little skeptical of this as a solution to anything. I don't know. What do you think?
If you'd asked me, say, 10 years ago, I would have been just absolutely appalled at the idea of the city or the state doing this, or any jurisdiction doing anything similar to this. And while kind of some of my personal beliefs have probably changed during that time, I still think this is not really a great idea, especially given in the article, there was some specific talk of hey, the thing we shouldn't do is to make this nebulous and leave it up to the regulators at the time. We really need hard and fast rules so that there's no gray area here. I think that's just a horrible idea. And I think that there's a lot of ways that this could really, the rules that are built now don't make sense in some future world, but since it's a law, it'll have to be changed then. I'm willing to imagine that the market's efficient enough, no one's going to come in and open a casino just to shoot themselves in the foot, especially given what's happened recently, and it's just going to cause future problems, I think. That's how I feel about it.
Yes, my 2 main thoughts, one that I brought up in the Facebook group of why I'm against it is, first of all, it sort of plays favorites with current casino operators.
Right, of course. Certainly that makes winners and losers, and the winners are people who have casinos, and the losers are people who don't have casinos, say, Bart Blatstein, or people who, otherwise own property that would be a lot more valuable if a casino could be built there, but it can't.
Right, and so, I've made the argument before that I'm not sure it's necessarily a bad thing for Atlantic City as a whole. I actually don't think it's a bad thing for Atlantic City as a whole if new, better casinos come in, prove that they're better than the competition, and that means that the lower end of the competition closes. It's obviously bad for the workers, but on a long-term level for Atlantic City, it's better if the product is better. If the shift is to newer stuff that's better, and it means that some stuff has to close, that's a good thing. And this would prevent that. It would basically say, hey, if you're offering a really crappy product at Bally's Park Place, we are protecting your product and really giving you no incentive to do that. And there's always going to be competition within the pie. That's what we've always seen in Atlantic City is, they haven't invested in stuff to bring a bunch of new people in. They've always been willing to sort of fight for the amount of money that's already there. But, we've also seen Caesars and Bally's stagnate. We did just talk about Caesars putting a bunch of money into their sportsbook. But
we've already seen a profitable casino close in Atlantic City, and say what you want. We talked about how Hard Rock and Ocean have been certainly disappointments, I think, their first year. And it's coming up to right about a year that they've been open. And it hasn't gone the way they've hoped, but I think it's unquestionable that in terms of jobs, in terms of bringing people in, it's been good for the city. Certainly the overall revenue is, 10 or 15% higher. And, while the other casino owners would not prefer that these casinos had opened, I think it has been a net benefit. So,
yeah, to me, it just seems like a huge gift to the current casino owners, right? It sort of locks them into, it almost feels like, the revenue-based salary cap in hockey or something, where it's oh, no, you can't lose money now, basically. Mm-hmm. It's probably a bad analogy. But the other thing, you touched on it, right? If somebody wants to come in, I don't know who it would be, Boyd, for example. Boyd probably has some no compete and can't come in. But if they are we want to invest $500 million or $1 billion to build a casino. We've done our research that says that this is a good idea. Why would the state say no to that? Like, why are the we're at 10. Like, we've 10 casino licenses out there. Like, you can't do it. Like, that doesn't make any sense, because that brings in a ton of money into the state. It creates jobs, whether, a lot of those jobs, temporary, long-term, whatever, and it moves Atlantic City forward in a way that should be helpful in the long term. And I know there's a perception problem of, and you're trying to avoid another 2014 when 4 casinos closed, but I'm not a huge, the market is perfectly efficient type person, but I think with the casino market, it's fairly efficient. Like in Atlantic City, from what we've seen in terms of the new properties and in terms of, what closed in 2014, basically things go about where you would expect them to go, other than Hard Rock being the number one property for a month at some point in 2018, which we foolishly said.
Never mind that, even there's reasons that even a casino may want to come in, like Poker Stars in 2014 tried to come in and tried to save Atlantic Club until they were denied a license, because even if they weren't going to run a profitable brick and mortar enterprise, they thought they could run a profitable casino in New Jersey when you include the online revenue that would have given them availability for. Mm-hmm. So,
and they probably would have been right.
Yeah, I think they would have, and I think it would have put them in a good situation kind of going forward with the possible legalization of online gambling elsewhere. And, there's reasons that people might want to get in that would provide the state revenue, would provide some jobs that, might not be available if they do this. So, and I'm sure that the current casino owners have a lot to do with this, as you've been saying.
Yeah, and
you haven't come out and said that, maybe, but
yeah, I mean, I would expect. I think they have a lot of sway,
right?
And I think another argument that gets brought up in the article by one of the gaming analysts, I'm not sure who it was, but said that if they do this, you can't have somebody own 3 of the licenses, right? Like, it would put them in such an advantageous position to where they basically get to dictate the future, or the vibe of Atlantic City as a whole, or we already saw that with Caesars, with the deed restrictions and stuff, right? Like, where they own so much of the physical structure of Atlantic City that they were able to say, this can't be a casino, this can't be a casino, and they were able to kind of push something that helped them that maybe wasn't the best for the city. And if they're in a situation where they have 3 out of whatever it is, 9 or 10 licenses, they're gonna, what their options are to do what is best for them are not going to be what is best for the city necessarily. And I would say they would be highly incentivized to do things that are not in the best interest of the city long term. So, I really don't like it. I'm trying to think of what the sort of devil's advocate argument would be for, or not. I guess it's the reverse of the devil's advocate, because it would be the positive side of it. But I mean, I don't know. I guess if you think that casinos just haven't been the solution and that it's just relying too much on casinos, which I think is what the report actually said, is, the city's too tied to the casino industry and its fortunes, and it needs to be able to break away from that. I actually sort of feel like locking in this sort of almost guaranteed profitability, and maybe that's oversimplifying, makes it less likely that there's more investment in non-casino stuff. Because that's certainly what we saw in the 80s and the 90s when AC was just doing gangbusters, was why invest in anything that's non-casino?
Right.
Because the casinos make so much money.
We don't have to do anything.
Right.
It's just a printing press, basically.
Yeah, so I don't think this solves that, and I don't think this does anything for that.
I think it's fair to say Do for a Win does not recommend setting rules for the opening of new casinos, revenue-based rules for the opening of new casinos in Atlantic City.
Granted, when, Bart Blatstein's Showboat opens and is the first domino to fall, and Tropicana and Borgata are the only existing casinos in 2025, we'll look back with great regrets, but yeah.
I mean, I think we've talked about it enough. I just, even in that case, I don't see, is it possible that a new casino opens and an old one closes and then being related? Sure, but I mean, certainly there's some benefit to maintaining the status quo, and maybe 2,000 people gaining jobs and 2,000 different people losing jobs, like, is that worse than just things staying the way they were? Like, in some sense, it probably is, but it's not enough worse to try to avoid that at all costs.
Right.
Anyway, moving on. The Welcome Center on the AC Expressway, that you drive past as you come into the city, is closed permanently. I have to say personally, I've never stopped there. I have made illegal U-turns there several times as I've attempted to go to the marina and accidentally ended up on the expressway and had to do a U-turn to go back into the city. But have you ever stopped there, Craig?
No, it's funny because people said they thought it was a total eyesore. I think a couple of people said that on Twitter, and I thought it kind of looked kind of cool.
It's pretty ugly. But here's the thing, right? Here's the problem. It's right outside Atlantic City, and for me, like, when I'm that close, I don't know if it's this way for other people that go to Atlantic City. I suspect it is, but it's like, I gotta get to the casino. Like, I'm so close. Like, I'm not stopping here, right? Like, if you have to go to the bathroom or something, you stop at the Fairleigh rest area, 30 miles up the road on the AC Expressway. But,
yeah.
Like, that is not a place I'm stopping.
Yeah, I agree. I've even thought in the past, like, oh yeah, I should stop in and get one of those, like, do AC things. Except now they have them in Boardwalk Hall.
Right.
And a thing attached to Boardwalk Hall, so you can just go there instead. I think it would make way more sense for it to just be on the boardwalk. Somebody talk to Bruce Toll and see if he'll open Toll Brothers Atlantic City.
Do AC. Yeah,
store. Do AC store. I agree with you completely. My first question when it closed was, are they going to close off that entrance so that you can't whip around there if you mess up?
Yeah, I don't know why I can never take the bypass to get to the marina and just always end up on the AC Expressway, but that's how it is. That's just the life that I've been destined to lead. So.
I feel like we've done that at least 3 times.
I've done it at least 3 times, for sure.
So, that's that.
All right. So, the Ivan Kane's Royal Jelly is closed and is going to be replaced by a 1920s themed speakeasy by Memorial Day. So what do you think of that, Greg?
That's incredibly
Memorial
soon.
Day. It's not very far away. And they just closed it like a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, I don't understand how this turnaround's even possible. I'm worried it's going to be very half-assed. We now know that they are playing with $20 million. Who knows how much of that's going into this? I would guess not a lot.
Not a ton.
My first thought is to mourn for the butts. I'll miss the butts.
So it's actually just the nightclub itself that's closing, right? Is this going to affect the butts outside?
I would assume that that's all related.
I just don't know that that's guaranteed.
Maybe, maybe not. My brother said that he thought that was very out of place in the ocean for a place that's trying to be an upscale resort to just have butts out on a catwalk. I wholly disagree. I said,
that sounds like a prudish opinion.
You can have both. It's totally fine.
Yes.
My other thought was, like, 1920s theme, man, this has been tried so many times. Like, resorts tried it, rolled it back.
You were like, I remember right after you're like, we got to go to resorts. We need to see this. And it was incredibly underwhelming.
They just put the cocktail waitresses in, like, flapper dresses and made it really dark in the casino. That was the 1920s theme. The 1920s restaurant at the Claridge closed, right? Like, I don't know. Like, this has been done a bunch of times. The speakeasy thing has been done a bunch of times in Vegas and everywhere. I'm not excited about this, but maybe I'll be just totally wrong.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. I know frequent commenter Megan K in Facebook said she thought it was good because people didn't really go to Royal Jelly or even really know it was a nightclub. And that seems right to me. I mean, I think even in its earlier iteration as Revel, it was really H2O that like pushed everything. I don't know that Royal Jelly's ever been a super popular place, but then again, I've
HQ,
not a nightclub. Huh?
HQ.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah.
And now it's HQ2.
Yes, right. So I think that's probably right. I think, certainly you and I are more likely to go to some lounge. You're probably not very likely to go to some lounge. And
I'm likely to do neither, but you're right. I am much more likely to go to a speakeasy than to a nightclub.
But I mean, I guess I just don't have much faith in the fast turnaround and knowing that this has been sort of the default attempted theme that many Atlantic City places have tried to do, makes me nervous. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be amazing and I'll be totally wrong, but that's not the way I would bet. Speaking of 20s.
Speaking of betting, go ahead.
Multiple listener reports have said there are no more $20 chips at the Hard Rock. In the Asian room, all Paigao games are now in denominations of $25.
Which
is very
terrible.
Sad for my math-challenged brain.
Due for a win, Edmund Terry and podcast superstar John B. both came out and said that, there are no more $25 chips. It's all green chips now, no more yellow chips, unfortunately. Does this make you... Chips. Yeah, no more $20 chips, sorry. No more yellow chips, only green chips. Does this make you not want to go to the Asia room as much in Hard Rock?
And no, it doesn't really make that much difference. I still love the room. The $20 chips was a really nice bonus, but it just kind of makes it like every other property on the boardwalk, right? Like, it makes it an even more nice bonus at Borgata that they still have the $20 chips.
I don't know. So, like, it doesn't affect me personally at all, right? I'm someone that does not bet less than $40, kind of regardless of what the limit is. But I don't know. It really rubs me the wrong way. Like, I think all Paigao rooms should be $20. It just, to me, it's like the worst kind of nickel and diming to make it $25. It makes it so much more unpleasant to have quarters involved in the game at all for people who want to bet the minimum. I suspect it does make sense because there's probably people that will bet $40 just because they hate quarters so much. But I don't know. I'm not a fan. Yeah,
so I don't know. There was some talk, I think, between Michael Traeger and John B. in our Facebook group about, I can't remember if it was us or Everything I Can See. I think it was our group. About the cost of handling the chips and, is it just easier for the casino to deal with in $25 chips since they've got them for everything else already. I don't know how much of a factor that really is, but disappointing. I'm not like heartbroken about it. I have a lot of quarters. I never remember to bring them when I actually go to the casino, but it's a little ding against what I thought was one of the best gambling locations in Atlantic City. Still, I think, is one of the best, but
people were not blown away at Gamblepalooza.
I know,
They said it was very crowded, not many tables open.
Yeah, and actually the last time I went by there, it was also extremely crowded, and when we were there for a day trip, and I didn't play, so maybe the secret's out. We talked it up too much, and now we can never go back.
Although it's not like all the tables are taken, it's that they have like one table open of each side. So.
Right. Yeah, that's the bigger. Yeah, the big complaint is that there's just not enough tables open, right?
I mean, I think would rather. It's so tough. If I'd rather be playing Paigao at Borgata or Hard Rock
because of the $20. The dealers are so good at Borgata. Also,
the dealers are legitimately incredible at Borgata. There's a dealer I really, really, really like at Hard Rock too that I played tiles with for many hours while we watched a U.S. women's national team soccer game together. The service is really just fantastic at Hard Rock too, and we've talked about how it can be up and down at Borgata, but Borgata, just the interactions with the dealers, the interactions with the pit bosses, they're all with the floor. They're really second to none, and I don't know. It's close. It's very close.
I mean, the boardwalk pushes it over the edge for me, in Hard Rock's favor. But, I'm sad. We've talked up the yellow chips a lot.
Oh, yellow chips are great. I am very sad to see them go. So I think we can close things up.
So wait, are we going to AC or what?
Yeah.
We need to discuss the specifics of that weekend, I think, is the key. And also to get our friend Taylor to answer an email.
Good luck with that. I've been trying that for 15 years.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you want to reach out to us or any of our other listeners, you can do so at our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/doforawin. You can find all of our wonderful content at doforawin.com. You can find our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, definitely not YouTube. You can reach out to Craig on Twitter at DoForAWin or me at Kyle Askin, or you can send Craig some questions at doforwin@gmail.com.
You could if you want to not get an answer, because I've been horrible on all forms of social media lately, and email and whatever else. Facebook messaging. I've gotten quite a few messages that I've just been like in the midst of kid shit and then have just gotten lost in the shuffle. So
yeah, I've been pretty busy as well. I feel bad whenever people at me and things, and then it takes me like 15 hours to reply. But
yeah, oh boy, 15 hours. I'm like in weeks for a couple of emails.
Well, I don't have to deal with emails either. Just Twitters.
Yeah.
So I do want to let everyone know I do appreciate whenever you at me. It's just I don't have Twitter on my phone or anything, so it depends on when the next time I'm on a computer is, and B, I'm just very busy at work. But I do appreciate them. I will get back to you if you at me, and I love hearing from you all.
Yeah, I mean, likewise, certainly don't hesitate to send email. Don't take this as me saying I don't want email. It's just I apologize in advance for how long it's been taking me to get back to people. I feel like I was really bad at it at the start, and then I was pretty good about getting back to people within 24 hours, and now I've just completely like fallen off the wagon. Yeah. The email answering wagon. Should go to some meetings.
I mean, I am not one to complain about it, given that you are the person that answers the email. I can't be like, Craig, I'm very disappointed in you.
Yeah.
How could you let our listeners down like that?
I mean, you could.
Craig, I'm very disappointed in you.
It's the motivation I needed. I'm going to go answer those emails right now.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for listening. We'll talk to you again in a week and a half or a couple of weeks.
I'm completely at a loss for like episode 100 stuff. I guess we should probably think about that at some point.
It is 2 episodes away.